As we enter into critical fire danger conditions, a big announcement from the governor about the state's fire fund.
It's the first day of classes here at Great Falls College MSU. I'm Shannon Newth. Coming up, I'll bring you to campus for a look.
And later, a nonprofit helping our youth now in need of some help of its own. The newest undertaking by Alliance for Youth.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Thanks for making KRTV part of your evening. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwinnard. First tonight, Governor Bullock announces the Montana Fire Fund has been completely filled for the first time in the fund's existence.
Due to an excess of funds in the budget, the state of Montana was able to transfer $46.7 million to the fire fund, reaching its statutory cap of $101.5 million. The state recently finished its fiscal year under budget thanks to belt-tightening efforts by state agencies during the pandemic. The state will begin its next fiscal year with $620 million in the general fund, the fire fund, and the budget stabilization reserve. Bullock says fire fund achievement allows for resilience should we experience another record-setting wildfire season like 2017.
But we're also making sure that Montana's prepared for the wildfire seasons that come our way, not just this year, but for several years to come. The fire fund now contains enough money to cover nearly 5 average years of state fire suppression cost.
With only being halfway through August and still plenty of fire season left, Bullock is urging Montanans to redouble their efforts in using caution with fire this year and ensuring their campfire doesn't end up costing taxpayers millions of dollars.
For the second time this summer, much of western Montana finds itself in a heat wave. That's part of the reason the National Weather Service has designated the area under critical fire weather conditions. But heat is only one of the factors that plays into that critical fire designation. Russ Thomas explains.
Historically, mid-August through early September is the peak of wildfire season across western Montana. That's why the recent designation by the National Weather Service of critical fire weather is of particular concern. Now, of course, hot temperatures and low humidity play their part, but the biggest factor, which typically always seems to be the case, are those thunderstorms.
Our main concern is actually with any thunderstorm activity that pops up. Some of the thunderstorms will be relatively dry and have gusty winds. So if we do have lightning followed by wind and we continue to have these hot, dry conditions, fires could easily get started and then spread quickly.
Monsoonal moisture from the southwest is running into a very dry air mass, which is a catalyst for dry thunderstorms, or thunderstorms which contain little to no moisture at the surface. The opportunity for these storms will come in waves over the next several days.
We do have a chance of a few thunderstorms this evening through the overnight hours, and then a better chance on Tuesday afternoon and again Wednesday afternoon. As far as thunderstorm coverage, it will be most focused from about I-90 southward into southwest Montana.
This weather scenario is of particular interest to the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. Fire Prevention Public Relations Officer Kristen Mortensen says their awareness is always heightened during the hot summer months, but the potential for lightning brings an even more acute awareness.
We are monitoring that weather and specifically watching where those lightning strikes might occur, where those winds are going to come from. That definitely provides information to those that are on those fires so that they can make informed decisions on those fires.
Mortensen adds that extra air and engine patrols are in place for a few days after lightning events in case any potential trouble spots get out of hand. With a little luck, cloud-to-ground lightning strikes will be held to a minimum over the next several days, but of course they will continue to be monitored closely as each strike could become a big issue. In Missoula, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
We're working to learn more about a train derailment near Conrad. Viewers tell us the derailment happened around 4 o'clock this afternoon near the United Grain Corporation in Conrad. They say the derailment caused a brief hay fire that is now under control. We're working to learn more about any damages or injuries, so stay with us online and on air for the latest. From a fire weather watch to red flag warnings to heat advisories, meteorologist Grant Garland joins us now with a first look at the forecast.
That's right, Hallie. Good evening, everyone. We are looking at plenty of watches and warnings in place as we continue to heat up tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Right now, a fire weather watch in place for those in Cut Bank until Tuesday at 8 p.m. tomorrow. And then for those around Great Falls to Helena, Wednesday at 6 a.m. And then those down towards Butte, Wednesday at midnight. So different times for different things. Now a heat advisory is in place for, let's go ahead and go up towards The Cut Bank area looking at Tuesday until 9 p.m. and then we're going to go out towards, let's say, south of Glasgow until Tuesday at 9 p.m. as well. So plenty of heat advisories there. Temperatures will be in the mid 90s again tomorrow. And then last but not least, a red flag warning in place for a lot of folks. Let's go right in between Great Falls and Cut Bank. That is until tonight at around 9 p.m. And then out towards Glasgow, we're looking at this until Tuesday at 9 p.m. So a lot of different times for many different things. Coming up later, I'll break down your Tuesday forecast, but for now, back to you.
News came down just hours ago that UNC Chapel Hill has reversed plans for in-person classes just 1 week into their semester. This comes after 130 students tested positive. Clearly a concern for all parents, but when you look at the numbers, we have far fewer cases than they're looking at there. They have 145,000. Take a look here. We're looking at statewide just under 6,000 confirmed cases. Right now, 1,562 active cases with 94 hospitalizations. Family members of a Great Falls resident who passed away from COVID-19 complications say they're left without answers as they grieve for a lost loved brother.
2020 just sounded like one of those good luck years. As it turned out, it hasn't been good luck for anybody.
They tell MTN Carl Stuckey Jr. was the fourth person in Cascade County to pass away from the virus. They say Carl had arranged to have his body donated to science. He'd been living with COPD for years, and his family believes research should have been done to be able to learn about the effects of the virus through his donation.
That was his final wish and gift of generosity to humanity for science to learn something from his body, and that was denied.
Family members tell us Carl was one of the most kind and giving people they knew, and his death was unexpected. We'll have more from those grieving the loss of their husband, brother, and uncle, along with the opportunity to advance research tonight at 10.
Per Governor Steve Bullock's August 12th directive, face coverings are required in all K-12 schools and counties with 4 or more active cases of COVID-19. But are there enough smaller size masks to fit younger students? According to the Cascade City County Health Department, there have been a number of questions about masks for students. Health Officer Tricia Gardner says she expects the state's Joint Information Center to address those questions in the coming days. As for where you can find smaller masks, the Great Falls Public School District says they have some available.
There have been special requests for the smaller child-sized masks, obviously with a school system of younger children. That question has come up, and we are making them available as we can.
GFPS says some of the masks were bought while others were provided by the state. We're starting to see some numbers come from school districts showing how many students have chosen remote learning this semester. At a school board meeting on August 10th, Great Falls Public Schools Assistant Superintendent Heather Hoyer said over 1,200 students had opted out of in-person learning in the district, though she expected that number to fluctuate until classes begin. In Belt, 8 out of 315 registered students have opted out of in-person learning. Ulm reported no students choosing remote learning. Several other school districts have their deadlines for opting out of in-person instruction this week.
It's the first day back for classes. Students at the staff at Great Falls College MSU. MTN's Shannon Newth was on campus for this morning and looks how this year is looking a bit different.
Classes are underway a week earlier than normal here at Great Falls College MSU, following guidelines from the Commissioner of Higher Education to wrap up the fall semester before Thanksgiving.
This is such an exciting day, something we've planned for probably since last March, to be honest. You know, what were we going to be doing in the fall? And I just want to say again, it feels so good to have students back on campus.
Classrooms are full and physically distanced for face-to-face instruction. Masks or face shields are required on campus.
We will be ready for whatever happens.
Enrollment at two-year institutions tends to be delayed compared to four-year colleges due to the nature of the student population. Great Falls College MSU enrolled 72 more students just last Friday, and that population may still grow for the fall semester.
We're not going to be as strong as last fall, unless by the time concurrent enrollment and our second 8-week advantage, we may be even.
If students weren't able to join in classes now, the 8-week advantage allows them to join in October as well.
I think we've done remarkably well for the fact that childcare is hard to find. People have had to adjust their jobs. You know, right now we know that the extra support for unemployment has been decreased. So we know that there are an awful lot of changes going on.
Also happening on campus this fall, construction. This area will be the new home of the dental hygiene program. They're breaking ground this fall in hopes of welcoming students to the new facility next fall. In Great Falls, Shannon Newth, MTN News.
Still to come, looking to expand its services to area youth in need. How you can help the Alliance for Youth next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. The Alliance for Youth has been a part of North Central Montana for 35 years. Started by a group of concerned citizens who wanted to address underage drinking, it has grown to help support and create healthy youth and family development. The nonprofit has now embarked on a new project that is needed in the community now more than ever.
We've just been kind of that backbone support within the community.
Through partnerships with other organizations, the Alliance for Youth has helped young people like Dylan Zybro, who'd been kicked out of his house, and John Brady, who was homeless.
Well, I'm trying to get enrolled for a tribal ID, and so they're helping with that.
So really whatever they need me to do, first and foremost, I'm here for the kids, but beyond that I help with whatever.
The Alliance's latest endeavor is the Youth Resource Center, an idea 15 years in the making that became reality when the pastor of Victory Church called Executive Director Christy Ponte Stroop out of the blue.
We have this building, what could you use it for? And honestly, I started to cry.
The 16,000 square foot building is sorely needed.
There are 600 kids in foster care in Cascade County. That's twice the state average in Montana. There are 475 kids that are homeless at some point during the year.
Lisa Beavers, Director of Operations, who's in charge of the center's volunteers, is amazed by the community support.
We had one teacher that initiated a sock drive at East Junior High. I have one lady that brings frozen pizzas every week. That's just her thing.
Access to the center includes basic services like laundry, showers, and the food pantry. Wi-Fi and computer access are also available. The 13 to 20-year-olds who use the center also learn life skills tailor-made for modern times.
We're going to do some sewing. They're going to make their own masks. They're going to tie-dye them.
As the center grows, it plans to add more services, including a health and dental clinic and mental health counseling.
Every dollar that you give, we leverage it by partnering with folks to get the most services for the most youth that we possibly can.
To get there, the nonprofit still needs to raise considerable money.
To own the building, we need an additional $350, but to get to a sustainability aspect, we wanted to get to $3 million.
It may sound like a lot, but for people like Dylan and John and hundreds of other kids, the payoff could be priceless.
I've had people come and say, oh, it's so nice that you're helping those people. Yeah. Well, those people are in every family. Those people have struggles with mental health issues, with substance abuse.
At the age of 18, 19, when you're struggling into adulthood, that's also a difficult thing.
If I knew this was here when I was homeless, then I wouldn't have struggled as bad.
And coming up tomorrow, we'll learn more about how the Youth Resource Center's collaboration with other nonprofits has helped Dylan and John in their journey.
Well, temperatures tonight in the 60s and 50s, 62 in Great Falls, 64 in Helena, and around 63 in Hayes. Don't go away, your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a fantastic Monday, even if it has been a hot, record-breaking temperature day. We broke the records both in Great Falls and Helena at 99 degrees, 101 in Havre, and we're still waiting to get official reports for Glasgow and Jordan. I bet, though, that they were even hotter than that. The previous record was held back in 1919 when it was 98 degrees. We broke that with 99-degree temperatures today. Average is around 83 degrees, so 16 degrees above the average. Yeah, you could say it's really hot out there. Taking a look outside, we are looking at different temperatures. Hayes looking at around 88 degrees and Lewistown 95. Looking at a mix of sun and clouds, so depending on where you're at. Temperatures elsewhere 99 in Havre, 93 in Lewistown, 101 right now in Jordan, 100 in Glasgow. You head on down towards Bozeman around 94 degrees. And with our winds, well, our peak wind gusts so far today 25 in Great Falls, 22 in Helena. Doesn't really help the fact that we're in critical fire weather danger in our concerns. 28 in Cut bank. So the only good news is that we haven't had any storms that have helped start any grass fires there. Over the last 3 hours, we've been looking at clouds that have been making their way through the area. Don't mind the green flecks. Those are birds and bugs. Now, not only are we having to deal tomorrow with heat advisories, fire weather watches, as well as red flag warnings, we are also having to look at the potential for an isolated severe thunderstorm, mainly in southwestern parts of Montana, including Helena. The main threats will be damaging wind gusts and lightning, so that's going to be our main concern tomorrow. Starts late tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. As far as when our elevated fire weather concerns really peak, I'd say right around 2 p.m. But really, they start off in the early morning hours, and they're going to last throughout the early evening hours until around 11 p.m. when that moisture from the night tries to creep back in. As far as when our driest part of the day tomorrow will be, it's going to be right around 4:30 whenever we're seeing 20% chance of humidity, 92-degree temperatures there. As far as though our winds gusting, well, tomorrow we are looking at 10 to 20 mile per hour winds starting off right around 11:30 in the morning, and they're going to continue to stay and oscillate between 10 to 20. So we're not looking at really any big, overbearing winds tomorrow, but still any winds that do help spread a fire, they are dangerous. Going throughout the night tonight, we will see clouds try and creep into the area, looking at isolated chances for showers right around tomorrow morning. Will that rain be able to hit the ground because of how dry we've been? Well, hopefully it will, so that we can start to see that moisture creep back into the area. By tomorrow, though, right around noontime, still looking at a lot of cloud cover. As we head throughout the afternoon, this is typically the time that we're supposed to start seeing these thunderstorms. This model hasn't picked up on it just yet, but with the National Weather Service and their parameters, they're saying yes, that they could be there. Right around 4 a.m., looking at a few showers too, starting to creep in the area by around 6 in the morning. Could be looking at a few isolated showers as we head into our morning commute on Wednesday. And then by Wednesday afternoon, looking at a few showers and thunderstorms picking up too, which we need. So that will be the good thing there. 62 tonight in Great Falls, 64 in Helena, 66 out in Jordan, and 63 in Hayes. We are going to be looking at a very warm day tomorrow, 94 degrees for us, looking at a 20% chance of an isolated storm. Better chance for those in Helena. Wednesday at 92 degrees, looking at a better chance for isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms. But the good news, Hallie, is that temperatures fell down to 83 degrees on Sunday.
Well, it's Monday. You know what that means. Tom and Cece will have your game changers next. Stay with us.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
The fall sports hit the ground running at the high school level this week with golf, soccer, volleyball, and football practices underway.
And while Tom and Cece are eagerly awaiting the return of sports highlights, they've offered up another edition of social distancing game changers.
Folks, it's been a long couple months. Our quarantine beards are at full strength, but we got high school sports coming back this week. But before we dive into that, Cece and I are going to share with you our top moments of the week. Here's what Cece learned this week: how to slide and how to say a new word. No. Let's go to number 5. The annual Stuff the Bus campaign continued, even in the midst of a pandemic, raising funds and taking donations for students in need. At number 4, on that note, college students started moving into housing this week, one of the first steps in what is sure to be an interesting school year. At number 3, 111 competitors came to the River's Edge in Great Falls for the state horseshoe tournament. Easy to say social distancing in a 3-for-3 pitching game. Congrats to all of Montana's champions. At number 2, college sports have been pushed to the spring, but high school sports are moving forward this fall, and football practices started on Friday. And at number 1, Special Olympics Montana athletes and supporters gathered outside of Mackenzie River to twist for tips and raise money and awareness for the virtual Tip-A-Cop campaign taking place the entire month of August. Folks, we want you to join in the fun. Shoot us a video to sports@krtv.com or home highlights at krtv.com, and we will try to include it in Game Changers each Monday. We're going to go shave our beards, but for now, reporting from home, Tom and Cece Wiley, MTN News.
All right, well, it's been 5 months since the COVID-19 pandemic brought an end to the high school state basketball tournaments, and today The MHSA held its first actual competition since March 13th. The high school golf season teed off this afternoon with the annual Great Falls Invitational Tournament. It's not business as usual, though. The two-day event has been condensed to one day at 2 locations. Boys played at Eagle Falls, girls are competing at Meadowlark Country Club. And instead of being grouped by skill level, golfers are grouped by school to avoid exposure between teams. Great Falls Director of Athletics, Mike Henneberg, was encouraged by what he saw. He's hopeful for what's yet to come. You can check out all these scores and results at mtnsports.com. We'll be right back.
Well, temperatures tonight falling down to 62 in the Electric City, 64 in the capital, as well as out towards Glasgow, 61 in Hayes. Walking out the door tomorrow, 63 degrees with partly sunny skies, quickly warming up to 91 by 4 p.m. All in all, 94 degrees in both Great Falls and Helena, 98 in Havre, 100 in Glasgow. Heading throughout the next 3 days, we are looking at temperatures thankfully falling down as we introduce the chances for scattered showers and thunderstorms.
Check this out, special delivery tonight from Mackenzie River Pizza. All month long, Mackenzie River will donate $2 from the sale of every Guardian pizza sold. That's it right there.
That's right, and the money then will be donated directly to Special Olympics Montana. Due to the COVID pandemic, they had to switch things up this year. Before it was a day-long event. This time, it's all month long.
All right, what are we looking at here? Guardian Pizza has chicken, pesto sauce, spinach, roasted garlic, onions. How is it, Grant?
It's good.
And if you do the twist, do the twist challenge. There you go. You got it. Good job. We'll see you at 10.